Hello everyone, I am Malaceo. Welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. I am a slow traveler. I am an expat. Pretty much I travel all over the world. In this video, I'm pretty much going to be talking about my 3 months in Japan, aka my sabbatical, but not really my sabbatical because I do have a part-time with not working. Okay, we are accepting it, we are acknowledging it, okay, and we will grow from it. Okay, we will practice what we preach when we talk about not overworking ourselves. Okay, so this video I will pretty much be recapping everything. So for me to even explain to you guys what I mean by sabbatical but not sabbatical, at first I never heard of a sabbatical before. And to my friend, one of my homegirls that I met in Vietnam was like, girl, just take some time off and, sabbatical it up. And I was like, sabbatical? She was like, it's like, like a lot of people call it different things. Like kids that is going in between high school and before they start college, they'll call it like a gap year or whatever. But it's like, usually you travel, you take off, you decompress, you explore the world, like you really take time out for yourself. But a lot of it is like implementing, time for you to fully travel the world and travel full time, specifically for a long period of time. So I'm like, yeah, let me just go ahead and do that because how I set everything up and I was trying my best to be somewhat on a budget and trying to also experience the things like I know me. I was going to be doing something every day because I wanted to go to Japan since I was child, like Sailor Moon days. Like when Sailor Moon first started like coming out and they was showing it, like even I wouldn't say necessarily like Dragon Ball Z, but like definitely like the Sailor Moon era and stuff like that. Like I'm showing my age and stuff like that. But yeah, girl, Inuyasha, all of the things. Especially when like Spirited Away and when I read like Memoirs of a Geisha when I was a kid. So this is even before like middle school, definitely elementary school. So when I actually had the time, and that was like one of my main things for this year is for me to go to Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan for most of my life. So yes, I ended up going and I was staying in more like pod hotels or very small type of hotels and stuff like that because like I said, I was just getting up and going, getting up and going. And then this year, which is 2025, they had the World Expo in Osaka. So I spent pretty much 2 months in Tokyo and 1 month in Osaka. I wish I flipped it. I ended up liking Osaka way more than Tokyo, but I would say it's because, I'll be honest, it was just so much all the time. Like, yes, it is the most, I believe it is still the most, is it? I think it's still the most populated city in the world, I think. With 52 million people. But that's the thing. I'm like, I appreciate the efficiency. I appreciate like nuances and stuff of the culture and things like that. But I think a big thing that a lot of people miss is that like people wear like a lot of like very muted like colors and stuff like that. Like I mean, I fit in perfectly with my wardrobe because all I wore is like black because like I said, I refuse to wash more than one load. Like I did get some color and stuff, but I ended up getting like yellow tops and stuff like that. And when I say yellow, I mean like all of my yellows is like this color. This is like a also random thing. It got like the satin lining in it. But yeah, I will be doing the packing, like everything that I pack and everything I have with me for Vlogmas. I'm not sure what day I'm gonna do it though. But yeah, so going to Tokyo and being in Tokyo, what I will say, if you're trying to take pictures, you're trying to like just engulf yourself in just architecture and infrastructure, especially museums. It's how articulate they are with explaining things, with teaching things, with like, girl, they have a museum for everything. I went to a museum every day. Every day. I do have vlogs of like every day that I went out, but I have so much content that it is, scheduled, and some stuff is already showing up now, but it is scheduled all the way out to March, to July, no, to June. But yeah, so just to let you guys know, check those out. But it's like you can sort of see like, like the work culture and then like the drinking culture. Like I was sort of taken back by that a lot. And even like how many times I was approached. Like it's nothing that I'm saying is necessarily bad. Like I've seen drunk people or whatever, like in the streets in the States or anywhere else that I've been. It's not like it's like, oh my God, this is a deal breaker. It's just certain things caught me off guard. Like even like the wearing like very muted colors. Like there's only 2 parts of all of Tokyo where people sort of dress like that. And even Osaka is almost like the exact opposite of Tokyo. I would say like they're way more laid back. People sort of describing it as like the country version or whatever of Tokyo. People are way more laid back. People like locals speak to each other and stuff like that. But like I said, I wasn't I'll be honest, like I always knew and believed that I was attractive. I don't go and I'm not looking for anybody to be like, oh my God, you're this, you're this, you're this, you're that. But the reception that I received, and especially like other Black women that I've watched before, and part of me feels like, I don't want to say that they're lying, but I'm like, maybe because and I really am trying to put the premise out there that I was in the military, so I'm hyper vigilant, I'm hyper aware. I am very good at noticing my surroundings at all times. I'm not saying that these women aren't, but I know where to look at to see a reflection and to see somebody behind me. My peripheral view stops right here. Like I can look straight ahead and I still see it to here. Like there's just certain things that I think that I have, and I'm watching other Black women walk around, which was very sparse. And y'all, like, it's not like, long story short, I don't believe that how unattractive people say that Black women are, it's not what I've seen and what I experienced at all. And people would be like, oh, well, it's just for sex and blah, blah, blah. And like, girl, like, that's not the case. Every experience except for one was very respectful. And girl, I'm talking about, and this was in Osaka, but he was a little bitty. I thought he was a teenager, if not a very young man, very much so a young man. Like he was like 28, I think. And I'm like, you're a grown man. That's why you're talking like that and act like, no, I don't care that you're lonely. You're not tricking me, girl. Get out of here. And I'm like, me standing up, I'm 5'9", and I'd even hear him come up. He's like, to his head is like right here. The top of his head is right here. There has been like, it's like the smallest one. It's the small ones. It's like when they see somebody or a woman that's like, I believe that I would be considered like a taller or bigger stature in Southeast Asia. I understand that. But it's like and it wasn't just in Japan, but it's just like, it'd be like, not even just short, but like petite also. Little bitties, they be the main ones that be like, what you doing? How you doing? How are you trying to do it? Like, like this whole, oh, like, yes, there are the typical, like, very shy, blah, blah, blah. But there's plenty that are not. But like I said, out of all of my interactions, it was just one. And I wouldn't say that it was even close as a lot of the interactions that I got in the States, as far as being aggressive. Like anytime I said no, they just like, okay, you know, bowed out gracefully, didn't, no me mugging, no staring, like no attitude, like they didn't give me any negative anything. What else was there? Because that was just sort of like, that's like a tangent that I do want to say is like I said, I was there for 3 months. Everybody's situation is going to be different than mine. Even like compliments on my hair, I got a lot of compliments on my hair. Like, I don't know if they think it's braids or locks or whatever. It was just like, just compliments galore. So yeah, so like I said, like I don't necessarily know if it's just my phenotype or my height, like my body type. I don't know. I'm just telling you like what I've experienced, and I was out and about like every day. So there's that. But also, yeah, that's another thing. Pretty much looking like this, barefaced. I think they like a natural, very, very, very natural look. It's not like I want to be barefaced all the time, but I'm very sweaty. I'm very oily, okay? If you can't tell, like I just wiped my face and I'm already... But my lips be dry, so I had to put Vaseline on my lips, but everything else is just, that's just what it is. And makeup ain't making it with me. Just like edge control, I don't even buy edge control anymore because girl, it's just gonna sweat away and then come onto my face and then I break, whatever. It's a whole thing. I'm already almost 13 minutes in, but bear with me. I'm just saying. So just to get some of the more like, I guess, things out of the way as far as like Tokyo, it was just, yeah, it's just like, it was just so much. And like, I knew, and I was going to the parks, several times to get some type of vegetation in my life, like to be in the gardens and to be surrounded by trees. Cause it's such, yes, it's a metropolis, but it's such a metropolis. Like, it's buildings everywhere. And I know this, we know this, but I didn't realize that about myself until I was like, God, I'm tired of seeing buildings. Like, yes, it's clean, it's beautiful, it's safe. Girl, if you, like I said, if you're the type to walk around and also trying to take pictures, trying to work on photography, I'm pretty sure professional photographers already know this, but it's a very easy city to get a shot or to take pictures and stuff like that. Like, I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing. The 7-Elevens, they are hitting. They're good. People be like, oh, they're better than Buc-ee's, but they're not better than Buc-ee's. Okay? They're not better than Buc-ee's. Fight me. Do whatever you gotta do. But the brisket sandwich is undefeated. Okay? Buc-ee's to the world. Anyway, I would say like the food is really, the food is really good. It's fresh. But as far as like the flavors and stuff like that, like I'm more like Thai, Thai, I would say Chinese. Like, I love sushi. Girl, I was eating it up. But like I said, it's just like, I don't want to complain about clean eating. Okay, I don't want to complain about clean eating, but it's just their palate, like everything, like they're so sensitive to, like, you know, like color and palettes and like tastings and smells, and especially smells. Like too much perfume, even like your natural body musk or body odor and stuff like that. Like, because like I said, it's so clean eating that even when I first came to even like Vietnam, like I didn't need to even wear deodorant. Like I had no body odor after I came out of the States. So that's something to tell you about the food, okay? But yeah, just to just clear that up with everybody, just to like let you guys know, just some little tidbits and stuff. And I just got deja vu. I'm gonna have to write this down, but I just got deja vu. I'm gonna keep this in this because this is also a diary for myself, but also for you guys. But I want you guys to see, you know, before I guess I get big or before whatever, you know. But I still liked Tokyo, and I would honestly go back to Tokyo. I would most likely go back during the fall because I'm from Georgia. Atlanta, Metro Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm from Georgia. Those that know. But it get hot, okay? But this is a different type of heat, for real. Like this is a different type of heat that they have out there. So, girl, just to let you know, like for real, it's like this cloak of like just like heat and direct sun, but it's like humidity, but it's just like on you. So just the sweat is pouring, girl. The sweat, cause especially me, cause I'm a sweaty beast and I will fucking sweat, okay? That's why I'm like, thank God for locs, because I don't have to put too much product in my hair. So when I sweat, it just, because that used to be a big thing for me, like having product or having grease or hair gel or whatever in your hair. And when you sweat, it comes down. And that's how you get like back knee and blah, blah, blah on your face and blah, 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 your ears and stuff, like all that gunk. Because you're sweating, you know, and you're supposed to sweat, mind you. Some people be very like, oh, I'm not trying to, but you know, it's natural. It cleans you out. But I don't know why I keep on having a tangent about sweating. Well, I did a lot of sweating there. Like I said, I was up and out, up and at them, moving and grooving every day. The museums, absolutely amazing. There's always something to do. Don't matter what your niche is, they have something for you. And I will honestly say, and being honest as a woman, they got niches for the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll leave it there. Girl, I'm telling you, when I said I seen places that was like getting your own glasses made, like very fine, intricate details. If you had a camera and you wanted them to like put like almost like to like paint it or like put some type of like cover or film or whatever on your actual camera itself, they had places that customize that. Like they have a niche. If there's a niche and a niche within that niche and a niche within that niche, they have something for it, and it's always like relatively available. For example, going to the parks. If you have people who really, I don't know what you call the profession, but they really love plants, or they really love like bugs or types of rocks and stuff like that, and you will see in a lot of these parks, if you look real carefully, they'll tell you, like in Japanese, a lot of times, they do have English on some of them, but it'll tell you the type of plant that you know, that you're watching or that you're looking at, like even like greenhouses in the parks and stuff like that, and they're naming all the flowers and stuff like that that's throughout the entire park. It's just like stuff like that that I've noticed, that like they are very, very, like, education is also very much ingrained in day-to-day society. Is also another thing that I've noticed. Like, I feel like they're also like, they're very nice, kind people. And I do think it's also, and I like to put this in, that I'm a woman and I'm a solo traveler. So maybe men, because like I said, I've seen other men talk about their experiences and be like, oh, well, they didn't want to sit beside me on a train and blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that I ever really seen a woman like complain about that I can remember. But I didn't have that problem per se. Nobody ever got up. If anything, well, people would come and sit by me, and I'm like a little bit more introverted, and I'm the type of person that I will go all the way to the other side of somewhere, whether it's like a museum or whatever, like, so I don't have to be around people, like, just like up on me. Cause like that's what I'm saying. Like, I was feeling it. Like, people are everywhere, and they just be like, and they're very kind. And I feel like very much so, they don't just sit there and just stare in your face, but they'll be like, and I'm telling you, like, my parentheals is right here. So as soon as they get like right there, they're like, and I see them, but it's just like, I'm already walking past, and at least you're not staring in my face. Like, it was like this one guy, and he wasn't Japanese. I don't want to say where he's from, but I can tell. But he walked from behind me and like stood right there and looked in my face. So, and I'm like, then I turn around and like, you know, walk away. But still, he was Asian, but he wasn't Japanese. Just to put that out there. So yeah, so all of that, it was a little bit more, I wouldn't say it's like necessarily like a culture shock, but it was more like, that wasn't on my bingo card, or that's peculiar, or I wasn't expecting that, or you know, and you know, there is, you know, when you do your research and stuff like that, versus, for example, I went to Vietnam and I didn't know nothing about Vietnam. Never watched no videos really about no Vietnam or anything like that. I watched a bunch of videos about people going to Japan and Tokyo. So I believe that mentally I was taking on what other people were saying. Good, bad, or indifferent. A lot of it was just, it was praise. It was good. But it's just like, well, if you was here for 1 week, would you see what I've seen in the last month? You know, if you're doing all the touristy things, like I said, I was just walking around. Like, I was walking around every day, and I was probably walking like maybe like 10 miles on average every day, walking around the up and down stairs, in and out of mall. I was just walking, girl. So and that's mainly in Tokyo. Osaka, I was doing that too, but I was mainly focused on not necessarily the city of Osaka that much as I was for Tokyo, because I knew Tokyo was a very big thing. But being in Osaka, I was mostly focusing on the World Expo, and I loved it. Like I said, I love the energy of Osaka. I love the people of Osaka. It's not like I dislike the people of Tokyo, but I love Osaka. I fucking love Osaka. Even the tourists, the other tourists that was there, was like super, super nice. But like going to like the World Expo was so cool. Like, to be able to see like the flying cars of it all, the Gundam of it all, the Astro Boy, like to see where technology is going, and like even with like infrastructure, architecture, like all of the things, it gives you hope. And it's just like they have like, I do have a video, and it will be, you know, showcasing in the next month or so, but they already completely built out, like, when I say like the Jetsons, like that type of shit, like entire cities. Okay, so this is like a very real thing that civilizations, cities, countries are doing, are these smart cities. So, and they're talking about being done in like, I think it was like, I can't remember which one specifically, but I know they were saying 2030. And then there was other that was like 2035, right? So I'm like, girl, this is going to be so fucking cool, so amazing. And one thing I will say about the Japanese, if they will plan some stuff out, they are very meticulous. They will plan some things out, like seamless planning immaculate. Okay. And I'm just going to turn over to like more like the spiritual side of things, because like I said, a lot of things happen. And even dealing with the back end of when people talk about like, oh, well, you know, you travel and you get this and you get that and you understand this or you understand that, or you get these feelings or you get these vibes, and people don't necessarily put it into a little bit more context per person, because I do believe it does depend. Like for me, I came out of a marriage. I love or whatever, and I am just engulfing myself in what I wanted to do for years and living my life that I want to live unapologetically. So with the walking, all the walking I was doing, and that's another thing, the walkability of the city. You can get anywhere. Train, girl, if they had it, like the boats, the all the things. I had those in videos too. Like the walkability of the city, you can get anywhere by walking. And I love walking because you're right there, and you can just see things and experience things and be like, okay, I see this, I see that, and you know, all of the things. And but even spiritually, it came to the point that I'm like, I should and I need to be okay with being seen. So once again, I was gonna go to Japan to have a whole sabbatical, not record or anything like that, but it's just something in that first few months that clicked, and I'm like, what is it versus? Why am I not the one to, you know, show my face? Like, why do I dislike my voice? Why do I feel like I have to speak a certain way, or the way that I speak, the way that I express myself, the way that I talk about my story and I'm like, oh, somebody's gonna be in the comments and tell me like, oh, they don't like this, or they don't believe me, or blah, blah, blah. Then I'm gonna crash out and be like, oh my God, you don't believe. Like, I was thinking all of that stuff in my head, and I'm just like, but it don't fucking matter. I'm like, versus somebody seeing my stuff, even if it's just one video or whatever, and somebody sees me and be like, you know what? I always wanted to travel. I didn't know I could travel like that. Just like I didn't know that this was an option to travel like this. But it is. And she's doing it all by herself. And she's talking about it. She's talking about her experiences. And, you know, you might not want to do it full time, but be like, oh, I want to do it every 6 months. Or I'm going to have a business that is, which this is like very specific, but I forgot what her name was, but this was this one lady that her business was literally decorating people's front porches for like fall season, Christmas season, winter season. Like, people pay her, she comes with all the decorations or whatever, and she has like packages in a whole freaking warehouse, and she does like porch decorations, and she makes like all this money, and she's off for the other part of the year. But when it's time for her to work is like when she is fully working. So during this time, I'm like, I am living my dream. I am fully living how I want to live, doing it in my own time, like eating what I want to eat, seeing, like, going to these museums, going to get like all this knowledge, being able to just sit in the park and see how people actually like live their lives and not be rushed. And girl, I Uniqlo the fuck. Girl, if I ever get a brand deal with Uniqlo, because I love Uniqlo, but if I ever get a brand with Uniqlo, girl, your girl made it. Okay, your girl made it. But I'm just saying, I was up and through Uniqlo every week, at least once a week. I love Uniqlo. But I digress. So even with like all the stuff or whatever, I was just so happy, like even in the moment, even now, like just being in that moment and just being like, oh, there's jellyfish in the river. Just shows how clean the city is. Or, oh, look at this. And I can just sit here and like watch this famous, like Tokyo Tower while I'm having my coffee. And I'm walking around Tokyo looking for the Sailor Moon potholes covers. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can do whatever I want. I go into like these little stores and stuff like that, and where they do like the train fixtures and stuff like that, and like they do like the little super meticulous stuff. Apparently Godzilla is like 70 years old. Yes, because I went to the museum, the Godzilla museum. I went to like the digital art museum where, they're talking about 3D design, 3D creations, like different medias and mediums of art outside of just, what was, standard and stuff like that. But I was more than thoroughly intrigued, because if curiosity killed the cat, it killed me. And I always want to know things. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but to see the basis of architecture, to see the basis of like even one civilization and how things started somewhere and how it elevated over the years, absolutely amazing. Like how other cultures mix in with others, and how Japan became connected to the rest of the world slowly but surely. And even like not just the art, but like even like the art of war type of thing, torture and stuff like that, all of the things. I am very curious. Okay, I used to want to be a historian. Like that's why I used to want to be a marine biologist as a kid. And my dad would always take me to these not museums, but like girl, why is it going aquariums? And it was this one eel that looked like it was on meth, came out of the crevices. I was like, no thank you. A shark, fine. A barracuda, fine. A snaggletooth eel, that's where I drew the line, girl. And I really did draw the line there. Cause I was like maybe 7 when that happened. Maybe 8. I knew I was almost about to be a preteen. Or no, I was a tween, which is before preteen. Those that know, I'm aging myself. So yeah. And then I wanted to be a historian. And then I was like, oh, can I be an architectural historian? Then I was like, well, what job can I get from that? It's whatever. But it's still all these interests that I have. It's the Gemini in me. It's all these interests that I had. And if you wanted to know anything, learn anything, like you don't even have to crack open a book necessarily. I'm telling you, Japan has a museum, whatever it is. Japan has a museum for it. I swear to God, they have a museum for it. So yeah, that is something that I thoroughly enjoyed, and I do feel like people should be going to museums. Like I feel like people go to European countries, and that's one of their main things is to go to a museum in a European country, but not necessarily. You don't really hear about it in Southeast Asia that people like, oh, museums and blah blah blah. Like, yeah, girl, you need a. So it's just like maybe that's just what I'm here to do. Also, is just to go to all the museums and all the cafes. Okay. But yeah, back to like the spiritual part. So just spiritually being more open to being seen and being perceived and taking myself out of my head, especially when it's negative. Cause one time I was thinking to myself, like, what if people don't like, my lips or how how my lips speak. How my lips speak or just like that right there. I'm keeping that in. I was so hyperfixated on, oh, well, I'm not looking at the camera. I'm way better now, but it's like, I could not, y'all, look at myself. I couldn't look at myself and put myself out there, and then someone's like, oh, well, you said this or you said that or blah blah blah, and I was really wrecking my brain. And I'm like, well, I know at the end of the day I don't have bad intent, and if there's a person that is being willfully ignorant and willfully misunderstanding me, then that's not a person that I want in my community. That's not a person that I want to be around, because then, maybe somebody else wants to speak their piece, for example, like in the comments or something. And just because they don't know something, or they don't know what something is called, or they mispronounce something, then you're going to have somebody else come in and be like, oh, well, you blah, 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 like jumping down your throat. Like people can't even express themselves in their own opinions about things that they've been through or that they've seen without somebody trying to jump in and be like, oh, well, no, it's this, it's that. And I got to give all of these premises on things for a video that somebody, clicked on. Like I was really, really, really like eating myself up about it. And I was not going to ever show my face. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like I literally in the past months changed my channel name to Malaceo, because it's hot in here. Change it to Malaceo because I didn't want people to know me. And it's like, why not? Why not? You're living this, to me, as far as I'm concerned about myself, I'm living this beautiful and amazing life, and it's only going to get better. And to a certain extent, wouldn't it be a little bit selfish of me not to express my lifestyle and tell people what I'm doing and how I'm living? Because what you don't know, you don't know. Even if it helps one person. Because like I said, I didn't even know that slow traveling and being out here for a long period of time, I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know. But when I found out, I was like, oh, bitch, it's time to go. It's time to go. And I remember my dad telling me, he was like, oh, it's not like I didn't believe you. I thought you'd be out there for a little bit and then come back. But he was like, when you sold your car, especially being out there in the country, those that know. There is no such thing as not having no car out in the country. Like in Georgia, there's no way. When I sold my car in Carvana, went to go pick up my shit, and I cried. And I was like, Daddy, my car, she gone. He's like, what do you need me to do for you? Can you bring me some Waffle House? Okay, thank you. And I'm telling the pecan. Some of y'all be like, pecan. Waffle, hash browns with the jalapenos, Um, in the smothered, oh yeah, the shoot, what is it called? Girl, I keep on thinking panini because I've been out of the country for out of Georgia and stuff for too long. The patty melt, oh, I love okay patty melt. But yes, back to this. But yes, Osaka and the things, beautiful. Osaka's really, really pretty too. Like aesthetically pleasing. Like they had all the lights, and this is not even like this is like during the spring and summer. So they have like the lights lit up. I feel like it's way easier, to like walk through Osaka, like even if it's like raining or if it's like super sunny outside, because they have a lot of the shopping areas and stuff that's covered, even though that's more of like the touristy areas. But even like the vegetation, like the mountains, like on my way going up there, the scenery of like the Japanese countryside, it is so beautiful, green, luscious. I'm like, I can only imagine what it looks like during fall. Like that is my plan, to be back there during fall season, to get my seasonal fallness in. Okay, that's what I'm like. That's the plan. That's the plan. But yeah, like there's a lot of things that I did miss out on as far as like what Osaka as a city had to show and offer, because I was going to the World Expo like almost every day if I could. But I will be back in Osaka. I didn't even have a chance to even go or even touch Kyoto. That's why I'm like, I should have spent all my time, like spent like a month in Tokyo, then a month and a half in Osaka, and maybe go to Kyoto, maybe stay at a place in close by Mount Fuji, something to that nature. But I know for later on, and I do not regret it. I don't regret it, but it's like, this is something that you could have did, or I didn't think that, I would be so overwhelmed. And I do believe me leaving Da Nang, which is a very small city, small beach city, especially compared to Tokyo, I think that is also a completely different thing. It's one thing to be there for 1 week, 2 weeks, but I was there for like a whole month straight up in just Tokyo. So that's that part right there. Even seeing like my family on my dad's side come there, and it wasn't even planned. Reconvening with other women that I've met in Vietnam, and ended up having like 2 solid friendships, or even like acquaintances coming out of that situation. I did not have that on my bingo card. Even like other experiences and stuff like that happened, that's more like, just like I said, like spiritual, and I'll keep some of that stuff to myself. But just being alone, walking, and just the peacefulness that's there, like it's very, very quiet. It's very quiet. Even though there's like hundreds of people around you, like it's crazy how quiet they are. But also it was just so easy for me to, like, I would have my headphones in, and I was like talking to myself, but I had my headphones in to make it look like I wasn't, like I was talking to somebody else, but I'm just sitting there like reflecting and speaking out loud and stuff like that, and going through things in my head and evaluating my life. And honestly, I do feel like, well, not feel like, but I did have, like certain spiritual awakenings. I'm trying to be as, because like I said, monitoring spirits is a real thing. And it goes for anybody, even in your day-to-day life. But it was such a beautiful thing. And me just seeing myself and believing in myself and having this full expression and realization of like, this is who you are, and you love who you are, and this is something that you could be doing to help somebody else. This is something that you can do to plant that little seed for somebody else to see what you're doing, and it's going to help them. Like, I watched people during my depression and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm going to do that too. Like, not exactly, but when I said I was going to do that too, I meant I'm going to live on my own accord. I'm going to live my own life. I'm going to live my own life unapologetically. I am going to do things because I want to do them, not because I want to receive love or validation from people who should have been giving it to me regardless, you know? So I'm just saying, like, I try to keep my videos as positive. I want to tell you guys the truth, right? But I also want to put out as much positivity and almost like I don't want to say like a spiritual connection, but being like, y'all, it's more than just sitting up and working and doing stuff for people. Like, my nails look like candy. They look so delicious, don't they? This is much better. I feel like it gives it more, like, but still, I think this is really nice. It's beautiful, actually. Anywho, I am about to sign off because, yeah, I don't really have that much else to say about it, and I don't want to keep on talking and I end up telling like my own personal spiritual experiences and stuff like that. And I just want to put out enough to be like, this is what I went through, and you can have your own experiences in life. Give yourself time to figure out what you want to do, instead of thinking about something that's negative. And I've been through that. I've been through that myself. Training yourself not to think negatively and always thinking, what do I want? Where do I want to be in the next year? How do I want things to look? How do I want things to not look? And just like, actually, one little tidbit, when I was married and I was just like, all I was doing was working, I distinctly remember I did see the World Expo, and it was on YouTube. And I remember telling myself, I would love to go to something like that, to see the pavilions, to see all the different people, to see all the different cultures, to see all the inventions, medical advancements, all these countries, you know, showing like what they bring to the world and stuff, like as a whole, and what the best of what humanity is doing. And to have all that in one space, in one area, and at one time. And I was like, I will never be able to see something like that. I was like, I would never be able to be part of something like that. And I am a crier, but I booked the ticket and like all of my plane ticket and all of my stuff to, like, when I say I'm never gonna cry on social media, I mean like an actual tear. I can't help the puffiness. I can't do that. But I remember when I was in Vietnam and something was like, just go ahead and book everything, whatever. And this is before I completely forgot what a World Expo was called. Completely forgot about it. And even when I booked to stay in Osaka, like, y'all, like, the hotel that I booked to stay at in Osaka, I was in Osaka for a whole month. Out of all places for me to choose to stay. When I came to Japan, when I stayed in Osaka, even the hotel that I got, they had a train line that will directly take me from literally walking a block down from where I was staying to get onto the train, and it'll take me directly to the World Expo. I didn't realize that until after I paid for everything, and it was maybe a week before I even went to Japan, that the World Expo was even happening. When I seen that, I was like, I am exactly where I need to be. Girl, I couldn't sleep. I could not sleep for at least that night, because it was a really big thing for me. And I was like, that is one of the most amazing things it's like as a full circle moment. And it was like a gift to the universe. And it was like, you do deserve to be here. It was like validation. You do deserve to be here. You do deserve to be in spaces like this. Like, who are you not to be, essentially? So, it's not just the geeking out factor of like, all of these things, but to be able to witness, society and the positives and the greatness of society as a whole, as far as the entire world is concerned, I could not be happier even now. Even though I am like pooped, I'm tired. Not in a bad way, but it's just like, you did that. You did that, like, for real. So I have to, nowadays, like, I have to sort of sit back and be like, okay, what's next? What are you going to do next? Because there was so much that I did in this year that completely changed me as a person. And I just float. Like what Janelle Monáe says, like, you just float. You're just energetically, she a fairy. She's a fairy. Yeah. She was a fairy. Yeah. Girl, like, I'm just saying, I'm just be like, out here perching. Coffee, thank you. Flying cars, yes, bitch. I am out here, okay? So, yes. Get the energy back together. My energy just be all over the place, girl. But at least it's real, right? Okay? So, yes, I am about to get myself together, start to like sit down, relax, like I said. And this has actually been a really good day for Vlogmas. Girl, I went through a lot of stuff. I feel like I'm getting a little bit better with talking about the spiritual stuff and the personal stuff without putting too much out there, because it's not about the bad things that I went through. It's what I've learned and how it got me to where I'm at now. It's about the positives. That's why I try to keep it as constricted as possible, because I don't want that to be the focus, because everybody goes through things, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. It's you getting out of it. It's you having something, living your life for you, Alrighty. I am Malaceo. I didn't forget my name. I was thinking about something else. I'm Malaceo. I will see you guys tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye.